guys, Goody here, and welcome back to once again another Napoleon Total War battle. So today we're on arid cliffs, and this replay was sent in to me by Gabriel. So Gabriel's going to be in command of the Austrians over here. Rules for this battle were no artillery, max 5 lights. So let's get right into his army comp. So starting on the right flank, you see in the front he has some Hungarian hussars, as well as the 1st Hussars. Behind that, looks like the majority of his light force is over here, consisting of 5 Grenzers. And then for his line of infantry, you see he's brought the Archduke Charles Legion, 47th Regiment, and the 1st Regiment. So, very nice units, very elite. You can tell this is his pushing force. He has a general staff. Taking a look on the left flank, he's got some Uhlans and some Landwehr. So it looks like he's going to be shifting over his troops to the right flank, and it seems like he's going to be aiding the French player. Now, one interesting thing about arid cliffs is that there are a lot of choke points, but they are very, very tight choke points. So for example, over here, this is a bridge basically, so pretty much 1 unit length can fit across comfortably, but when you put an entire army there, gets a little tight. So we will see how that happens. We'll see if they will push the hill or not. But you can see to his right we have the French, and then to the left of Gabriel we have the Ottomans. Now for the Ottoman force, you can see he's brought some Janissaries, very heavily upgraded. Very nice consistency with troops of line, lights, and actually I don't think he has any lights. So went really heavy with his line of infantry and cavalry, and he definitely did upgrade those Janissaries. So we will see how those guys do. Alright, they're actually bashy bazooks. So we will see how they do. So let's fast forward into the game. You can see the French over here as well. So the battle has started, and you can see Gabriel and his allies are going to start pushing the hill. Not a big surprise. Now taking a look at the enemy, you see facing the Ottomans we have a French player here. You can see he's also going to be rushing the hill. Now facing Gabriel we have the Prussians, and they're also pushing the hill. And then finally we have the Ottomans. You can see, so everyone is pushing the hill right now. And it looks like the cavalry is going to be the first units on the battlefield, and there is a lot of cavalry units. So everyone's trying to take a chunk of this hill. They know it's a really important place to take, so they are rushing troops up. And just looking at this choke point, if there's any units up here while these guys are trying to charge up, they are going to get mowed down. But since there's no one over here, they're just going to be pushing. But look at this melee clash. We got some Lancers up against some Hungarian Hussars. Looks like the Hungarian Hussars are going to be in some trouble right now, seeing that Lancers are much better equipped in cavalry combat. He's got some Brandenburg Uhlans as well as some more Lancers charging in. So right now, Gabriel is not looking too good in the cavalry engagement. Statistically, these Prussian, cav units should outnumber and outskill his cav. But we will see. You can see more cavalry is now being pushed up. Gabriel's Uhlans are now going to be charging in. These guys are really good against cavalry, and they're going to be charging right into the backs of these Prussians. Now that can totally change the game right here. And we got French cavalry now. Very, very confusing. So you're going to have to take a look at the minimap, but very bloody right now. Huge melee clash. Taking a look over here, we have an Ottoman engagement against the enemy French cavalry. The Chasseurs should not last very long. The Safai cavalry is superior, so they should win that engagement. But over here you can see the Ottomans are pretty much forced to run up this hill, but they're going to be encountered by some Voltigeurs. They're forming up as well. We got the 6th Regiment, a lot of Swissfoot now pushing up. But taking a look back at the center, it looks like Gabriel's going to try and halt the Prussian push, and charging into these line units. And that's going to cause them to lose a lot of guys, as well as keep them out of position. So this is going to allow Gabriel to push up his forces, and that cavalry charge did a really, really good job. You can see he's still committing more and more cav units in to the combat. You can see the Swissfoot trying to engage the Uhlans, but they are paying a heavy price right now, taking a lot of losses. But it was definitely worth it in the long run. You can see it's going to allow him to push up now. And he's actually going to be able to take this forest, it seems. So even though he did lose the majority of his cavalry, not a huge deal. It's going to allow him to take the higher ground. So taking a look on the left flank, we have the lights now engaging. For some reason these guys are in square. Actually there's cavalry right next to them. So good move there by the French player. But now the Ottomans are pushing up. Let's take a look over here on the left flank. Looks like the French are being forced to pull back right now. It looks like the enemy Janissary units are charging in full force, I think 5 units, so this poor Swissfoot's about to get engulfed in a lot of Janissaries. You can see the Old Guard are now going to be falling back, and it looks like they're going to be taking up a defensive position behind the Voltigeurs. And this is going to allow the Voltigeurs to get some really nice shots in, so let's see this devastating volley if it does occur. Janissaries can't really make up their mind on where to attack, but hopefully these guys will engage. Here they go, guys. Let the volleys rip. So not the greatest of moves by the Ottoman player, clustering up his units, and he is suffering a lot of losses right now. He did demolish that Swissfoot unit, but he is getting charged once again by another Polish Legion unit we're charging into. In the center though, we got a big engagement. You can tell on this hill there's not much room for many troops, so they are pretty clustered up right now. So the enemy Prussian player is pretty much at a disadvantage right now. You can see Gabriel does control the hill. We have a melee engagement right now. Gabriel sending in his Hungarian Fusiliers up against some 18th Regiment and some Fusiliers as well as Old Guards. So Gabriel is definitely outnumbered right now, fighting a 2-on-1. We got the French over here, Allied French fighting the Ottomans. Old Guard getting very close to the Ottoman player. Oh, that's gotta hurt. But the Old Guard are just going to shake it off and charge in. And got a melee engagement over here. It looks like there was a big French force over here that was pushing up, but they did get slaughtered by the Ottoman forces on this left flank. So taking a look at Gabriel's point of view, you can see that his left flank is, you know, pretty much the only section that's in combat. He does have a couple of reserves here, and he looks like he's just going to keep them there just to make sure they do not get outflanked. As for on the left flank, Ottoman player doing an alright job against the Ottomans and the French. Still very, very early to tell who's going to win this engagement, but you can see he is definitely losing a lot of troops in this section, especially going up against these foot guards. He's going to be taking a lot of losses. So like I said, with Gabriel having this force and the hill advantage, the French are forced to fight an uphill battle right now, and it's going to cost them a lot of lives. You can see this push is really devastating, losing a lot of guys. Most of the units are pretty much at half health already. Meanwhile, Gabriel's units are very, very healthy. Actually, I haven't even lost any guys so far, at least for those couple of units. So great job here by the French player. He knows he cannot get in melee combat, so he's going to keep his range between the Ottomans and himself and hopefully win this engagement. So using his range and his Voltigeurs to his advantage, he's going to kite back and hopefully just retreat back to Gabriel if needed. So the French are now going to be pushing up. You can see the Old Guard on the left flank. They are out of range, but that is not a big deal. He does have some Voltigeurs next to them. Over here on the right flank though, looks like the Ottoman player is doing a really, really good job right now, using his melee troops to his advantage, sending in Bashi Bazooks and all sorts of units to try and deplete this French force. Here comes the Bashi Bazooks, charging into a square formation. They do have some pretty low numbers, but they have some insane skills, or morale. So we will see how this goes. So good charge into the square. But those guys are definitely outnumbered there, so he's going to have to assist those guys. But on the left flank, it looks like an all-out attack by the Ottoman player, charging in his Bashi Bazooks, or excuse me, Janissaries. He is losing a lot of guys, but he is pushing in now. He's going to try and charge into the Polish Legion and the Swissfoot. French player doing a pretty good job at keeping his distance, but that distance is slowly closing, and he's actually going to get into melee combat, so that is not good. But luckily he does have some Old Guard in the rear. They're going to help out against these line infantry. point-blank volleys. Very nice from the old guard. But it looks like the French are just getting overran right now. And that is not good. Losing a lot of guys. Polish Legion, half health. Janissaries still pretty healthy. They're just going to continue this charge. And right now the French player is in some trouble right now. And Gabriel's trying his best to face a 2v1. It looks like the Ottoman player did finish off the French force over here, so he's going to be shifting over his units to face these Prussians. And they do have this hill advantage, but let's take a look back over here with the Janissaries melee combat. This unit of Swissfoot outnumbered 4-1. Not looking good at all. He does have some Polish Legion down here on the base of the hill. They're going to help out a little bit, but right now he is getting overrun very heavily. So great move here by Gabriel. He has some reserves that aren't in use, so he's actually going to be shifting them over, making sure this French player can hold his ground. But looking at these units throughout, it is not looking too good at all. Down to his final few units, you see for Gabriel's right flank, the French have pretty much collapsed, and then on his left flank, the Ottomans have succeeded. So it looks like the French from both sides of this battlefield are just not doing good. So this is pretty funny to see. But Gabriel's going to be sending up his pretty elite troops. He's got the 47th Regiment here, and they're going to be engaging these Janissaries as they continue to charge forward. A lot of cavalry as well pushing in, but they are getting depleted as they keep pushing onward. So if Gabriel can hold this push, he's going to be in a really, really good position against these Prussians. So over here you can see the Ottomans now getting a piece of the action against these Prussians. Like I said, they are at a downhill advantage, and they do not have the forest, so not looking good for these Prussians. They really need to push up right now and try to even the terrain. But these Ottomans are just not giving up. They are charging into anything they see, and it looks like the person that's controlling the Ottomans is just going crazy with this micro. So it looks like the Ottoman force has pretty much subsided. You can see a lot of the troops have routed, but taking a look at the carnage here, a lot of losses, pretty evenly distributed between the two armies. You can see the 47th still holding their ground very well right now. And look at this, we have a general that is dead. Let's take a look at who it is. It looks to be the, actually can't tell you. I think it's the Ottoman general. I'm not too sure though. Let me try to get a closer look here. I believe it's the Ottoman general, but I might be wrong. But anyways, you see Prussians, like I said, are not looking good right now. They're getting pushed all the way back to the base of the hill pretty much. The Ottomans down to their final few units. So for the enemy, it's not looking too great. Balance of power still favors them slightly, but we will see what happens here. You can see the Ottoman forces now trying to outflank their opponents right now, but these Prussians are just not giving up. They are outnumbered pretty heavily, but they are holding very, very strong. So it looks like the French are setting up a last line consisting of some old guard units, so they're going to hold for quite some time, but they're going to get charged into by some Hungarian Fusiliers. Very devastating charge. But the old guard do hold. They did suffer quite a few losses, but they are outnumbered, and that is probably going to be the deciding factor for this unit. Fighting very, very strong right now. I see killing a lot of Austrians. Morale is going bad, and they do end up routing. So pretty much only army left here is the Prussians. Down to their final few units. They are still holding on. They have some decently healthy lights, but they definitely gave Gabriel quite the battle. You can see in the forest here a lot of bodies just piling up. But with this hill advantage, it is very, very helpful. That guy just got shot. But now Gabriel's going to be charging into the lights. He knows he can win the line or melee engagement. And you can see he's going to be pushing the Prussians back. Looks like the general himself is going to be charging in. These guys are going to get a piece of the action as well. And Gabriel's general is charging. It looks like these French lights that are at the base of the hill right now. Or maybe not. You see the Ottomans are still holding by a little bit. Looks like only one unit's holding this line, or this flank, and there they go. So we got some Safai cavalry and the Ottoman general now pushing in. And they're going to try and do as much damage, but they're getting absolutely slaughtered by the 47th. And they're going to be continuing to push in. Gabriel charging in his general. And there goes the Ottoman general. So one by one, the generals are dying, and that is pretty much the game. You can see already over. The Prussians did lose the majority of the troops in the center. They did end up routing, but you know, fairly close game. You see the numbers very even at the end, but extremely fast pace. So taking a look at the stats, you see Gabriel doing a really good job. 1,300 kills, but also 1,300 deaths. That makes a lot of sense because he was most of the time facing a 2v1, if maybe even a 3v1. So the Ottoman player doing a pretty good job as well. French player on top with the most kills out of everyone in this game with almost 1,600 kills. As for the enemy team, you see the French 1,200 kills, Prussians 900 kills, almost 1,000, as well as the Ottomans. So all around, all opponents did very well in this battle. You see Hungarian Fusiliers on top, 2 chevrons. That is a great job there. But great job all around. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you guys later. Control